What's good, TeaDB? This is Denny.
This is James from TeaDB, bringing you episode number 233. We have some fresh raw pu'erh from Essence of Tea. This is their fancy production from 2017 that is all sold out, so sorry guys. Have you had this yet?
I've not.
Okay, and I have not had this either, so let's try this guy out.
Look at that beautiful chunk right there. We're not going to use that.
Certainly not the whole thing.
Here, fine. And because this is a little bit more separated already, we're going to go pretty hard right now. Look at those beautiful white leaves in there as well. Really gorgeous.
How's the aroma?
Why don't you give it a smell? But it smelled sweet and delicious earlier.
Ooh, yeah, that is the smell of some fresh raw pu'erh. Smells sweet,
Yeah, indeed.
foresty.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll give it a shot. We're gonna let this hang out for a little bit. I tend to like to do a longer rinse, so we can kind of get into the meat, so to speak, as quickly as possible. Yeah, I'm hoping this is gonna be, or anticipating this will be sort of a intense but sweet brew. These Yiwus tend to be.
Mm-hmm.
So they tend to start out pretty yummy from the get-go. Let's go ahead and actually give this a smell first. Oh my god, it smells so sweet. It smells like Starburst fruit candy.
That is an intense aroma.
That's crazy. That's amazing.
Really sweet, really woody.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna just basically flash brew this here, just to get started with that yellow.
So really
That's beautiful. And now, if you might have noticed that, oh god, that smells so good. I use basically just separated leaves exclusively. So we're going to be diving right into the intensity of this a little bit quicker. That is why I did the flash brew. I also pulled out that piece of the cake of it that was not unraveled, and how we just used that or broken into different chunks is going to evolve a little bit more quickly. Obviously, you tea nerds out there who've been watching the show for a while know that, but just a little heads up.
And the compression on this, I suspect, I didn't get a chance to mess around with it, would be on the looser end too. So
Looks like it.
You won't suffer through some of the
Yeah,
factory tea having to break it up.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to do one more here
Yep.
and just take advantage of the heat.
Yeah, I mean, like, even from just smelling the aroma and looking at the leaves and stuff, it's easy to see why people sort of appreciate young raw pu'erh sort of like they do oolong. It's like much more of an aromatic, refresh experience.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the greenness is gone completely. There's no really verdant, sort of that dull green. Man, it has from like a distance, it has those sort of more smoky, earthier raw pu'erh flavors, but this, just getting in your nose in there, it smells so sweet and fruity and delicious. So,
Yeah.
let's see how it tastes.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Oh my god.
Has that sort of like foresty, saccharine sweetness to it.
Crazy. It's saccharine sweet, totally. I mean, it's like sugary. And,
Not bitter at all, actually.
no, yeah.
You can really taste the depth of the tea all the way down.
It definitely has that raw finish though, where it has that sort of, not quite really peaty, but that kind of earthy peatiness going on that you're of course gonna.
Would you describe that as like lightly astringent at all, or?
Usually, it's so hard to separate them because they usually come together so often that it's sort of like they're the same thing, but not necessarily. I think it's definitely a flavor as well as it can be that sort of astringent, bitter thing that can give you that texture too. But I'm not getting the bitterness that much in this yet, at least.
Yeah, no, I'm not either.
Yeah.
Certainly not bitter. Yeah, but we'd expect that to maybe appear this infusion or the next, something like that. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Just a little bit deeper. The liqueur the brew itself is a little bit light.
Yeah, a little bit less sweet on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit it with some hotter water again.
How would you characterize the like viscosity of this tea?
I think it's thin. I think it's I think it's thin overall.
At least for now.
Yeah, it's definitely not syrupy or too oily. Well, actually, I don't know about the oily part. It does leave sort of a residual film.
Yeah, it leaves really sweet feelings in like most of the mouth, especially at the back of the mouth and sort of at the top of the throat. Feels like I just like consumed some sort of something that's like sort of having an effect on sort of like how you could have like garlic breath or something after. I got the raw pu'erh breath right now.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Yeah. Look at the color of this too. It's actually pretty light. And I don't know how much leaf I'm using here.
Yeah, you're probably using like maybe 4 grams. I guess.
Not a crazy amount.
I'd say it's a pretty average amount.
Yeah, I'll let this hang out for a little bit longer.
Yeah. So this one, I think that we would expect Denny is giving it just a little bit longer steep time. So this would be a good test of the strength of the tea if we start to get a little bit of that astringency biting back at us.
Absolutely. So this will be technically, we're going to be smelling the sort of like 4th or 5th steeping here in the cup. And I think it has more roasted baking spice cinnamon flavors going on, a lot less fruity sweetness.
I agree.
It's kind of changing a little bit in the aroma profile.
Still really aromatic.
Yeah.
Really smells great.
Yeah, really lovely. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
Cheers. It's not the most viscous, and I'm not saying that I'm wanting for that, but it's interesting that for how powerful this flavor profile is, there's not a lot of sort of syrupy thickness to it.
Yeah.
At least, this might change over time.
I'm getting more of the strength in this brew too, I think, from the recently reboiled water. A little bit of bitterness. Not a lot. It's definitely not overwhelmed by it. Maybe a little bit of nuttiness too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely evolving. I'd say there's a lot of movement in this tea.
Yeah.
Over the different steepings. And yeah, a little, not harsher, but just a little bit more intense, strong, kind of mid-note flavors going on.
So question, how would this tea do put to the Madre test? Could you potentially brew this tea? I'm not sure if this would be necessarily the ideal way to brew this tea for all the moms out there if you're doing like a Mother's Day brew or something. But like, would it be possible to sort of brew this tea maybe a little bit lighter so that it would be...
I almost think you would like just do the first 2 steepings and then be like, okay, we're done. I mean, like literally, because the first 2 were so sweet and floral and fruity and saccharine. I mean, it was almost like the tea was like covered in sugar or something. But then it's really not died off, but just changed and become a deeper, more raw flavor. And that profile is not the most.
Might be a little bit more difficult
harsh.
To. Yeah.
Yeah, just for the average person who just, never drinks tea at all like this. Having that out of context would be kind of weird. Which again is speaking a lot to the sort of dynamic nature of this tea, which is good. But I'm not sure if this would pass the mom test. It might at the very beginning.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers. Has more of that creamy, almost like cream of corn, sort of just like
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And definitely those raw flavors coming out stronger now.
Yeah, less sweet. I'm really enjoying the sort of depth of feeling of this tea. As Denny points out, the viscosity is not like super thick to the tea, and that's continued to be the case even for this stronger brew. But I think the tea has a lot of interesting things going on beyond that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the aroma on this tea is wonderful. The flavors are wonderful too. I'm not having it come like really resonating super deeply in my chest or anything like that. I'd say this isn't as physical of a tea as some other younger raws that we've brought on the show. It's not a bad thing, just different characteristics for me at least, and maybe I'm just in a...
Well, look at that. That color is a little different, I think.
Yeah, it's looking a little bit more...
Yellow.
Yeah, yellower and
Yeah.
a little bit more deep. And I did brew this one a little bit longer, but the water has cooled down a little bit. We'll see. I'm wondering if there's something we can do to coax out some more of those high notes that we had earlier on. Hard to tell. We'll see. This is one of those teas that, you know, I think you could sit in session and be pretty interested in for quite a number of steepings.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so kind of a fun tea. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
There's a lot of movement on this tea. A little more bitter and yet sweet. I don't know. It's confusing. It's almost like paradoxical. But it's just like there's a little bit... The bitterness is turned up a little bit. The knobs for the sweetness is turned up a little bit.
I think the mouth feels a little bit different. The bitterness for this steep in particular hits you just right away. And then it's sort of like the bittersweet thing that Denny's talking... Oh.
I'm doing this. I'm going to just try something, which is going to be to let this water cool down a little bit more and actually steep this for a little longer and see if that does anything.
Okay. So we are all about the experimentation here at TeaDB?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely... I think if we had hit this with hotter water, I think that it would just be a slightly more bitter tea for the next couple steepings. We'll definitely want to get through those steepings to get to sort of new changes later on in the sort of cycle of this tea.
Yeah. Yeah, you could kind of think of the evolution of the strength of raw pu'erh, and a lot can depend on just how you brew it, as sort of like starting right here and then like sort of rising up and then peaking, and depending on the quality of the tea, that period could last longer or shorter.
Yeah.
And then just sort of falling down on intensity. So the softer brews, especially when the tea is so young, late in the tea or very early in the tea, might be the easiest ones to drink.
Yeah. I think that's a great way of putting it. There's nothing wrong with drinking the tea when it's a little bit more, raw, but it's the trying to get the whole breadth of the tea itself. You know, we're gonna try to brew it a little bit longer and try to get to some of those end notes there during the life cycle of the tea. Not life cycle, but I guess the brewing cycle. So this was steeping for quite a bit of time. This is going to probably be pretty intense, but the water has cooled down a little bit, so we'll see. Let's give it a shot. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
I don't think it's still bitter, but not as bitter. A little bit softer on the palate. Still a lot of flavor. I think those sweet notes are coming back now.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's not even like they left. It's just I think that those bitter, kind of got confronted by that like deep bitterness of the brew going on. And as it's sort of losing a little bit of its steam, those sweeter notes are coming back. This is kind of a juicy tea for me, texturally, or at least like in my mouth.
I think it has some of that sort of like softness. It's not the softest Yiwu tea I've ever had, but it could be on the softer end, as these teas sometimes tend to be.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that brew was... I don't know. It wasn't dissimilar from the previous ones, actually, I would say, but it's starting to get back into that like sort of softer phase.
Yeah. I'm gonna let this one hang out for another minute here, and then we're gonna redo the water and do one last steeping.
All right.
It's definitely a session.
We're going hard.
Yeah.
We're going hard here.
We're finally like all caught up for our summer season, so we can actually do 2 teas in one day, as opposed to like 3 or 4 and want to be dead.
Yeah. See if you guys can spot which episodes it's like the third tea or the fourth tea. Actually, it's probably really easy to tell because then he changes his outfit, but I don't. So
I try to.
Yeah.
I try to. It's fun.
My wardrobe. I fired my wardrobe
Yeah.
a year and a half ago, and never replaced him.
Disgrace that guy.
Budget cuts. I don't need him.
Yeah, terrible.
So now we have the freshly boiled water. So how long are you gonna brew this guy for?
A little bit less long because it will be more intense.
Okay.
But we can still give this a little bit longer now, late in the session.
Okay. So now that we've consumed a little bit more of the tea, are you finding any sort of the tea energy in this one, or is it a little light on that regard too?
I'd say it's not the most energizing tea. I think it's like I wouldn't call it I wouldn't even really call it warming that much either. It's kind of an interesting mix. It's sort of almost like a spring season tea a little bit. I don't know. It's not striking me as like the most bodily experience tea that I've had. For sure.
Interesting.
Yeah. What about you?
I actually feel a fair amount of it, to be honest. And I can't tell if it's just because, but I can tell you that after this session and after Denny leaves, I'm going to scarf down some food because this tea is clearing out the stomach, clearing out the digestive system, and getting me all hungry. So
yeah. Well, and these teas can be so intense on the stomach that food before or after can be an important piece.
And to be clear, this tea is not giving me a stomach ache or anything like that. It's just making me very hungry.
I'm drinking this tea today on an empty stomach, and I'm fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of acidity to this one. Getting a few more of those floral notes too.
Yeah. So one of the biggest kind of through line observations I think I'm hearing us make is that this tea is changing a lot, and that's one big plus of this tea.
Yeah.
Now, too bad you suckers out there can't drink it.
Yeah. Unless you're some of the people that actually did buy this tea. In that case, drink away.
Yeah. So this is gonna be our final steeping. Reboiled water here, a little bit less of a steep than the time than the previous steeping, but still longer than our first initial sessions or steepings.
Yeah.
And maybe I was lying earlier about the energy piece. I'm feeling pretty good right now. Definitely gonna be buzzing, doing some work later.
We've certainly consumed plenty of it, and if you guys can't see from our camera, we have a bunch of. We're just throwing these for no reason at all. Essence of tea samples here, so we might be bringing on some more of their teas for show. I don't think we're gonna session any young raws back to back, but we might slowly bring some of them on.
All right.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's coming back to that sweetness. It's not nearly as intense. We're definitely on the sort of like, I think we've passed over the kind of hill of intensity a little bit. I would probably keep on heating up the water at this point to really make sure things are hot. Really tasty though. I don't know how many steepings we had. 7, 6?
Something like that. I lost track at some point. It's somewhere between 6 and 8.
This is a lovely tea. A lot going on. A lot of movement.
Yeah. Would you say this tea is typical of Yiwu? Sort of like captures some of like the appeal? Because I know that you really like Yiwu too.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, if you want the sort of that sweeter and potentially soft... I don't know about softer, but...
Maybe softer comparatively.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is still going to be intense, but at the very least, it's going to taste maybe sweeter and more fruity floral than more mineral-y and earthy, at least to start and maybe to finish.
And potentially a little bit less bitter or raw.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Although that will depend. And so that will, your mileage will vary there, and I wouldn't assume that you're not gonna get. I mean, you're gonna have those flavors going on for almost all young raw Pu'erh. But what a lovely brew. So I'd say you folks cannot grab this at least today, but if you can post up somewhere and maybe get a cup of this. Definitely try Essence of Tea teas in general. They're all really good. They have a .com on here. They don't.
I think it's you just Google Essence of Tea. That's the way to do things nowadays.
It is.
Yeah,
it's a .com.
Yeah, Google them. Find their links. We'll include it also in the description box. So this is their high-end Yiwu from 2017, which is sold out, but we'll be bringing on some more that are not sold out. So
indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. And so for folks who want to learn more about raw pu'erh,
yeah, you guys should definitely watch some of our videos. We've done a whole lot of raw pu'erhs. I wouldn't be surprised if it's over 100 at this point.
Yeah.
So all kinds of episodes on raw pu'erhs if you're interested in specifics. We have some other episodes like raw pu'erh basics and stuff, which could be fun to watch if you're into that sort of thing. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe, and check out Essence of Tea as well. And thank you to those guys for these samples.
Go to our website, TeaDB.org, TeaDB.org. Subscribe to all of our things there. Do all of the right things. Comment.
Yeah, all of the right things.
And we'll see you guys next time for episode 234.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Boom.